This is my review of the Skywalker. Not exactly sure the manufacturer, but I'm sure I can figure it out if you really want me to get it for you. Anyways, this is another FPV plane that I'm building for a friend of mine. This is obviously clearly built for FPV with all the features and holes and cutouts it has. Let's start with the electronics, of course. I made this little door. You got to actually cut this out. It doesn't come pre-cut out, so I cut it out. Once again, we're using Eagle Tree electronics, OSD Pro, E-Logger V4, micro altitude sensor, and we got the GPS. And this is using a Futaba radio with receiver, no satellite. That's the electronics. Let's talk about the build. This plane is one of those that come in half, so you gotta put it together. I really don't like building those because you gotta make sure all the wires and everything in between is lined up correctly and doesn't get binded anywhere. So you fold it in half. This particular model comes with a T-tail and it wants 2 screws on top. I did install the 2 screws on top, but found out it wasn't very good, so I just actually epoxied the whole thing on there. Now it's permanent forever and ever. Right here up front there is a hatch that actually lays up here, screws down, and that's probably where we're going to mount the GoPro and also the camera. The recommended place to mount the camera is actually up here, but my friend actually wants his transmitter up above everything else, so I put the transmitter in here, and the antenna goes right there, of course. What else? The good things about this plane is there's a ton of room. Lots and lots and lots of room in here, back here, inside this door, and there's a little bit of room up here to put, I'm guessing we're going to put the speed control, and this is also where the wire is going to come out for the ailerons to plug into, and that's about it. Back here there's it's really cool. It's got a little flat surface to put whatever you want. They recommend putting the transmitter there, but we flip-flopped everything, put the transmitter over here, and we're going to stick the GPS right there, line of sky, away from all other electronics, and should work out real good. Things I don't like about this plane is the way the servos are mounted. If any one of these servos ever fail, it's going to be a real pain in the ass to change. There's not a lot of room inside this area to put extra wire, so you can pull the servo out, change it, and put it back in. So if the servos ever fail, it's going to be a lot of surgery involved. Other thing I don't like about this plane is it has an EPO hinge. Didn't work out too well, so I actually cut off the entire elevator surface, put a tape hinge, and everything worked out fine. Rudder is actually okay. We don't plan on using that too much during flight, but the back and forth motion of that particular EPO hinge is okay. I also put the tape hinges on the ailerons due to the same reason. The EPO hinge is just not cutting it. Cut out both ailerons and replace them with tape hinges. Installed the servos and everything's fine. This plane does have a flap feature that you can cut out, add 2 more servos. The owner of this plane chose not to do that. He's just going to add flaperons or spoilerons and mix them into his radio because it's just a little bit more easier. He has it done with his other plane, and he's going to do it with this plane as well. Last thing I don't really like about this plane is the motor. you must mount the motor outside of the plane, so it's going to stick out, and the prop, you know, it's way out here. It kind of gives it, makes the plane a little tail heavy, but there's not really much you can do. We considered hogging out the inside of this thing right here to put the motor inside, and prop comes out, propeller, such as my RQ-11, motor inside and prop is on the outside, but I don't think that's a good idea, because the motor that the owner has chosen is pretty big, and we're gonna have to hog out a lot of that inside to get that motor stuck in there, which I think is going to sacrifice the integrity of this whole motor setup. And on a hard landing, or maybe a hard takeoff or something like that, this will cause cracks, and it's just not such a great idea, although it is possible. Second, or actually third, the wings are actually held on by rubber bands. Through these things right here. I don't really like that too much, but that is the design. I tried to think of a way to use screws or other means of supporting this wing onto the fuselage, but came up with nothing. Other than that, the plane is a pretty good looking plane. It's got a really good wingspan. It should have a lot of lift. I haven't flown it yet. But I think it'll be a good flyer. The foam is not quite EPO. It might be an EPP or some other grade below. And landing needs to be done with care, so you don't mess up the bottom. I did add a little piece of tape to kind of give it a little skid plate, if you will. We'll see how that works out. This is the Skywalker. After we fly it, I'll give some input and some comments.